Hey, welcome back to class. Let's go ahead and let's get started with our warm-up. We're gonna start with jumping jacks. Be sure not to hold your breath. Arms working, legs working. And punch and switch. Hands come right back to your face. Opposite hand and foot in front. Breathe. Forward breath. Hands are nice and relaxed. I don't have to make these really tight fists. I want all my muscles relaxed right now. All right, legs out. Let's do some weight shifters. Put out one leg and then on the other. One side, other side. Try to keep your heels down. Go down as far as you can while that heel is still on the ground. If you can only go down this far with the heel on the ground, that's fine. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's drop that knee down. Let's get a hip stretch, and then we're going to bring it back to a hamstring stretch. Dip, hamstring. Hip. And let's go ahead and switch to the side. Push the head forward. Feel that hip flexor stretch right there. Slide it back. Get that hamstring stretch. Try to get just close to your knee. Forward. And backward. Forward. And back. Forward, and last one, bring it back. Okay, let's go ahead, do our sumo splits, and I want you to just kind of shift around while we're doing this. And keep those forearms opening up, and I want to have a little bit of opening pressure, pointing my knees outwards as I do this, and we're just going to shift, right? I might kind of rock it from side to side. I might rotate a little bit as I'm doing this. Just kind of open up those hips here. Come up, bounce it out a little bit. Hands on your hips, head forward, backward, side to side, forward, backward, side, side. Trunk twists. All right, deep breath in and out. Now what I want you to do is I want you to get out that self-assessment worksheet that we did from the last class, right? We filmed our own test video and we went over and graded it. Once you go ahead and get that out, have that on hand, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go through the entire introductory curriculum, so all of the material, and I want you to focus on whatever you identified was your mistake, right? Whatever mistakes that you identified, that's what you're gonna focus on for each one of these sections, okay? So the first section is going to be our stances. So we're going to go through our attention stance, our ready stance, our fighting stance, and our sparring stance. Just make sure that you realize what your mistakes were. So if you need to pause the video, read through those mistakes for those 4 stances, and then make sure that you practice those along with me, okay? So I'm gonna set the timer so we have a set amount for each one of these, and I'm gonna put it for 4 minutes for this first one. Ready? Yeah. So it's the attention stance. This is our chair out. What were the main problems? Were your toes apart? Were your fingers apart? Were you bent over, standing up tall? Good. Now let's go from chariot to our jumbe. Hands come up. Breathe in. Breathe out. What was your mistake last time? Did you make any mistakes? Chariot. Jumbe. Did you go too fast? Were your arms too straight? Chariot. Jumbe. Hands come down at the same time with that heel, the left foot set down to the ground. Trip. Jumbe. Were you too wide with your feet or possibly too narrow? Make sure that they're right under your shoulders. Trip. Jumbe. Trip. Jumbe. All right, here, let's go ahead and do our fighting stance. So let's get into that fighting stance. What was your problem this time? Did you have a problem? Were you leaning too much on that front leg? That's a pretty common one. Maybe your elbows were up and out, too far away from your body, instead of hanging out close to you. Were your hands down low, instead of up around your cheekbones, eyebrows? Were you too bladed off? Were you too squared off? Right? Figure out what it was, if there was anything. Right? And if there wasn't anything, just practice getting in that fighting stance and taking a few steps around. Right? Staying in that fighting stance. Hands are relaxed, they're up. Notice how when I move, my hands also move. I'm not keeping them rigid and stuck to me. I'm allowing them to move, but they are staying up, right? But not keeping them really tense. Keep it nice and relaxed. Go around. All right, trip. Commit. Step back into your fighting stance. Same thing. Move around. Stay nice and relaxed. Keep those hands up. Keep your elbows tight to your body. Don't worry, it's halfway out. Leave it away from the body. Make sure as you adjust, you also don't just continuously bleed off. And get that those feet in the proper position. Weight distribution even between both legs. Don't be hanging out with all your weight off one leg or the other leg. Trip. Commit. Now let's go back into our sparring stance. Okay. So our hands are a little bit lower down. One is across the chest. The other one is out here in front, kind of hanging out. Goes up and down. I'm able to move around as I'm here. Okay. Notice as I'm here, I'm bladed off. I'm not squared this time. You can't see both my shoulders. One shoulder is kind of hidden behind the other. One foot is hidden behind the other. How's your weight distribution? Is it even? Both legs? Switch the other side stance. Same thing. How does that feel? You other hand up. This hand's your feet, ladies and gents, out here. Ready to block. Weights distributed. It's okay if you kind of shift back and forth sometimes, alright? But I don't want you, if you're in static motion, I don't want you hanging out here with all your weight because we're one foot or the other. Trip. Commit. Sparring stance again. Go around. And time. Take a breath. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is our footwork. So our footwork is switching. So we're going to practice this. Bouncing and switch. Go ahead and do this along with me and switch. Make sure you're in that good sparring stance. Chest is facing one way. Switch. Chest faces all the way to the other direction. The big one that you can make is that don't change the chest on the right and the other. all the way to the other. Switch. Bouncing around, waist evenly. Both feet move at the same time. Round, step up, and then step back. Right? That's a way to switch. But this switch. Are your feet staying close to the ground? And you might be able to hear my feet skid across the ground. I'm not jumping up high. You're keeping your feet split. My hands are where they swell. They're not staying still. If you lose them, help me through. I'll try not to over swish so that my toes are facing the side. And I don't want to miss that one. I want my front toes facing the front. And then do the switch. Might go just slightly inwards, but I don't want 80 degrees inwards. A good note. And drop, floating. Bouncing here. Going. Keep bouncing. You can do a little bit of a shift forward, backwards, and then switch. 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 And switch. Take a breath in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Now the next thing that we're going to do is our hand techniques. So the first hand technique we're going to do is going to be our jab. Okay, so go ahead, look over, find out what mistakes you made on your jab, and let's work on correcting them. Ready? I'll tell you when to switch hands. We're just going to do one side first. And begin. Jab. Are you not turning your upper body any? Is your elbow raising up first and then you're striking out like a hammer fist? Is your hand dropping down instead of coming right back to the face? And we want to make sure it comes back to our face. Are you leaning forward or are you twisting for your reach? Should be twisting. What about the other hand? Is it dropping down as you throw that punch, or is it staying up and protecting your face? Right? Sometimes I even raise it up from my cheekbone to my temple as I throw this punch. Right? Throw those jabs. Are you nice and relaxed? Are you able to get a little bit of pop and speed into there? Or are you doing it really slowly? It's okay if you do it slow at first, but we need to practice some. Throwing that out with some speed. Other hands up. Don't hammer fist. It means elbows down until the very last second. It's only pointed to the side after you do that twist upon impact. Are you breathing? Exhaling every time. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch. Same thing, other side. Throw that jab out. You're raising the elbow up first. All right, you don't want that. Elbow stays down. It twists up at the very end. Are you nice and relaxed with your arms? Up until that last second, you only tense up upon impact and then relax again immediately. That's what's gonna allow you to go fast with these. Other hand, where's it at? Is it up here or is it down here? I'm gonna keep it at your face. What stance are you starting in? Are you all the way in a sparring stance? You can do a jab all right from a sparring stance. You can't really do a cross though, so be careful of that. You want to be more in a fighting stance as we're throwing that jab out there. Is your shoulder up or is your chin up high? All right, chin's down slightly as we're throwing this jab. Exhale. Keep it going. Nice and relaxed. But you can still go quick while being relaxed. Throw it out there. Don't have that tension, all right? tension slows it down when we're doing it. Pop. Your jab is not a knockout punch. It can be, but it's more of a feeler punch. All right, take a breath. Now we're gonna do our cross. So make sure to look at that worksheet. What were your mistakes in the cross? Get them in your head now. We're gonna practice our cross. Ready? Begin. Backhand punch. Are you turning your hips? Are you pressing off of that back heel? Right? Don't leave that back heel on the ground. Where's your shoulder at? Is it way down here? Is it up here close to your jaw? Are you protecting your face as you throw that punch? Or are you exposing that chin? Is it relaxed until the last second? Or are you tense that whole way through? Are you pulling it back for a punch? Or are you just throwing it right out there? All right. Try not to pull it back and show the whole world, hey, I'm about to punch this guy. Nope. Just throw it. Where's your other hand at? Is it down here? Or is it up here? Protecting yourself. Throw that belt. And if you're not wearing a belt, throw your hips. Press off that back leg. Hands are up before, hands are up after. Don't punch and let it come down here, right? Comes right back to your face as you're throwing this. Relax the muscles immediately so they can come back quick. Okay, switch sides. Same thing. Again. Where are your mistakes at? Are you raising the elbow up early and hammer fisting? Doesn't happen much on a cross, but it still happens sometimes. Your other hand up. Are you pressing off that back leg? Are you turning your hips? Are your hands up before and after the cross? Is your chin close to your shoulder? Or is your chin way up here and your shoulders down? Use the lower body for the punch. Don't just throw it up here. Twist into it. Keep practicing. Work on what you need to. Time. Breathe in and out. Okay, next we've got blocks. So we're gonna start with our low block. So go ahead and identify any of the mistakes that you realized that you made from last time. Look them over. Got them in your head? Good. All right, so we're gonna practice low block. We're gonna do this for 2 minutes. Ready? Begin. Are you starting with the palm towards your face or down towards your shoulder? It should start towards your face. That'll give you that twist each time. Where's your other hand ending? Is it ending at your belt? Or is it ending up in front of you? Or way above you? If you're not wearing a belt, you should feel the side of your hip bone right here. It should be right on that side, kind of like your elbow striking somebody backwards. Are you relaxed and then tight? Are you using your hips? Okay. For the introductory level, you don't actually look for hips, and I don't hold that against anybody, but that will be held against you later if you're not using your hips. So it's a good habit to go ahead and practice it now. But again, not quite looking for that just yet. I want to make sure that the hand positioning is proper. Right? Are we relaxed, right? Loose, 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 and then tense at the very last second. I didn't even practice it with my hands relatively open, and then tighten everything up. It's a good way to practice this. Notice I can see my palm. up until the very last second. I can see my palm until the very last second. If I do it this way, I can't see my palm at all. That's incorrect. I should be able to see my palm. And then tense up. If I have the hips, I can throw my belt in there. Relax, tight. Relax, tight. Is your arm too straight? Right? We don't want a straight arm, we want a bent arm. It should be similar to our Junbei position with our hand at the end actually. Is there a little gap here? Or is there this open? And I don't want this open gap, I just want this hole here. Right? If it's open, that means your arm's too straight. Is your arm too far out in front of you? Or is it too far beside you? It should be out in front of you slightly. Your arm should be going down close to a 45-degree angle. And that's time. Breathe in, breathe out. Next thing we're gonna do is our high block. Ready? Begin. So, where's the starting position? Is your palm pointed towards your face, or are you pointed downwards already? So it should start towards your face. I can still see my palm. I can still see my palm. When it gets right in front of my face, I twist and push out. Now I can't see my palm anymore. I can see my palm. I can see my palm. It's close to my face, and I block. Where's your hand positioning? Is it here, with all of this exposed up at the top, or do you have it over, where your wrist is in line with your opposite ear? How high is your hand? Is it here, or is it way up here? All right, it should be out in front of you, kind of up at a 45-degree angle from your shoulder joint. Comes up right there. Are you using hips? Where's the hand ending? Is it up here? Should be down here. So make sure we feel that hip bone or your belt if you're wearing it each time you do this. Are you loose, relaxed, and then tense? Or are you tight the whole time? Right, work on the things that you need to work on. I'm just listing off a bunch of common mistakes that people make. You might not make any of these. You're just practicing your high block. Maybe you made one or two. And I want you to practice correcting those specific mistakes. Relax, 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 tension. Relax, 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 tension. What are we blocking with? Is it the bone? Because the bone should be pointed up at 45 degrees. I don't want the meaty part pointed up, and it's not something we want to do. And that's time. Breathe in and out. All right, our next section is going to be our leg techniques. So we're going to start off with our front kick. Now you can do the front kick either with the ball of the foot or with the instep. The official curriculum for the introductory level is with the instep, but the ball of the foot is much better, and we'll get rid of most of the instep stuff later. So if you want to practice ball of the foot already, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna do this for 2 minutes each side. Ready? Begin. So what are your common mistakes? Make sure you know them. Right? Are you circling, making this kind of circle kick by lifting the knee up after full extension? Or are you kicking and wherever your full extension was, that was the highest point your knee should be, right? Is your head dropping down as you throw these kicks? Right? Are you leaning forward, or are you leaning slightly backwards and pushing those hips forward as you throw this kick? Are you losing your balance? Are you leaning too hard to one side when you throw this? What about your arms? Are they stiff and rigid, or are you allowing them to float, stay up, and move around as you throw your kick? Right? Are you rechambering it, or are you bringing it down straight? You should rechamber after each one of these kicks. Do you spot your target, or are you looking off to La La Land as you're throwing your kick? All right, make sure you see your kick. Are you breathing each time? What about telegraphing? Are you taking this big step forward before your kick, or are you just kicking right from where you're at? Right? I don't want you to take that big step forward before you kick, and it's called telegraphing. It's showing that something's about to happen. You can take those steps when they're hidden, but you can't just do it like, oh look, I'm gonna kick you. Don't do that. It's not gonna work. Your opponent's gonna be like, oh, he's coming in? Cool. Let me just step out of the way of that real quick. Exhale each time. Hands are up, nice and relaxed. Don't make that circle round kick or circle front kick. Right? Wherever that extension's at, that's the height of your knee. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch legs. Same thing, and begin. Breathe out every time. Be intentional. Are you kicking with the ball of the foot, or are you kicking with the instep? Either way, it's fine, but I want you to be intentional with it. Right? I know I'm gonna kick with the ball of the foot, or I know I'm gonna kick with the instep. Right? I'm in control of it. It's not just, oh, well, that happened this time. Cool. Where are your hands at? Are they relaxed, or are you really tight and tense as you're doing this? Relax. What's your upper body doing? Leaning forward, slightly back so you can push your hips. All right, what are you doing? Exhale. Breathe with each one. Rechamber the kick. Don't just let it come down straight. Are your hands going way down below your belt, or are they staying relatively upwards? All right, I want them to stay up-ish. They can move, it's fine. They can drop a little bit, but I don't want them going down below your belt as you're throwing this kick. Keep them relatively up and floating. And out. Okay, now the next thing that we're gonna do is going to be our half roundhouse kick. So 2 minutes, again. What's your angle look like? Are you making this big L shape, or is your body straight? How is your shin bone orientated? Is it to the side, or is it really angled upwards? That's too angled upwards. It can be slightly angled upwards, especially if you're going for a higher kick. For now, I want you to hold it and try to have it horizontal. Okay? Try not to have it pointed up just yet. Have it flat right now. Are you holding your balance well enough to be able to counter rotate? Or are you just falling right over? Are your hands still relatively up? Or are they chilling down here? What about that pivot? Are you getting greater than 90 degrees? Are you able to get your 180? It's gotta be over 90. So let's try to get the 180, because, why not? It's just gonna help you. Are you exhaling upon each one? I think for most people, the main problems are balance and this L shape right here. So make sure we're really working on those. Find out what it is for you that you need to work on. Keep it going. 30 seconds left on this side. Keep practicing whatever it is that you feel you need to practice the most. Horizontal. Knee, hip, head, all in one line. Counter rotate. Bring it all the way back to the back. And go ahead and switch. Begin. Are you making the same mistakes on your left side as you did on your right side? Or are you making different mistakes? Sometimes people make different mistakes on each side. They might be good on their left side, but make a simple mistake on their right side that they don't have a problem with, even on their non-dominant side. It happens, it's okay. Just try to identify it. Be rotating over that 90-degree mark. Are you counter-rotating? How's your shin bone oriented? Is it horizontal or is it pointed up to the sky? Are you rotating on the heel or on the ball of the foot? You should be rotating on the ball of the foot. Keep it going. Are you breathing? Are you holding your breath? Going. A few more. Work on those problems. Time. Take a breath. Next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do solo drill number 1. So solo drill number 1, because it repeats on both sides, I'm only gonna set one timer and just do it for one side. Ready? I'm gonna do this one for 3 minutes. Begin. So now we're practicing that half round, but we're transitioning into another half round. Set it down in front, turn and face the other side. Half round, half round. Are you still going horizontal with the foot? Are you transferring your weight immediately into the other foot, right? That is the main thing I'm looking for here. I'm looking for consistency between your techniques, right? Does your half roundhouse kick look the same when we put it in this combination as it does when you do it individually? Hopefully. Are you transferring the weight immediately as soon as this one touches the ground, the weight goes into it so that I can throw my next kick? It's another thing that I'm looking for is that transition between your techniques. Flow, 1, 2. Notice I'm not going fast. I could go fast, right? I could do 1, 2, but I'm still working on that proper technique and then just flowing into that next one. That's the key here is as soon as it touches, flow into it. It's not to rush into it. Sometimes if we rush too much, our technique just gets really sloppy. So we're better off just practicing flowing 1 right into the next. Flow 1 right into the next. Looking for that smoothness of the transition here. But make sure we still have that proper half roundhouse kick. Arms are up, but relaxed. Shin is horizontal to the ground. I'm pivoting, ideally 180 degrees. Right? But again, it has to be more than 90 degrees as you do that pivot. Are you exhaling on each one? Right? And you don't have to go at the same pace as me, right? I'm going a lot, like one right after the other. If you need to, sit here, kind of pause and think about, all right, I need to really focus on rotating. All right, I need to really focus on transitioning properly. That's fine. You can take your time on this. That's why I set a timer and I'm not counting them out, because I want you to do it at your own pace, but I want you to focus
on whatever details you identified were your mistakes. And that's what you're working on. Now, you might be working on the exact same thing this entire time, and that's fine. Take a breath, in and out. Okay, now what we're gonna do is gonna be solo drill number 2. So this one again is gonna have a 3-minute timer. I want you starting one off, going with the left first, and then the next time start going with the right first, and just alternate back and forth. Again, find out whatever it is that you need to focus on, right? Work on that specifically. Okay, begin. So is it proper technique for your blocks? Is it consistency of pace? Are you going too fast for some and then slowing down for the others? Right. A lot of time for this, the main thing is really just pace or the individual techniques themselves. Right? Make sure that they're consistent. If you did a really good low block all by itself, I would expect a really good low block in this combination. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes people have beautiful low blocks by themselves, but as soon as they put it with a combination, well, let's just say it becomes a lot less beautiful. How's your body sit? Relax, then tense. Relax, then tense. Or do you just have tension the whole time? Or you just, right? You need to learn to relax the muscles. You can throw the hips into it, which I would prefer that you did. But again, at this level, I'm not gonna hold it against you if you don't. Although I do highly prefer it. Are you breathing with each one? Where are your hands at whenever you're doing those kicks? Are they up here, or are they way down here? Right? Are they relaxed, or are they tense? Is your palm starting off facing the correct direction? Keep it going. Work on your deficiencies, whatever mistakes you identified. Notice I'm not going fast. I'm just staying at a nice, consistent pace the whole time. And breathe in and out. Okay, now we're gonna practice our kicking requirements. So we're gonna do this one 2 times. So most of the time, failed the kicking requirement, it's because either your technique was just really sloppy or you just didn't make the time, right? Technique is sloppy means you need more practice. Didn't make the time means you need more practice. Ideally with a timer in front of you so you can see and try to pace yourself. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this 2 times. Go ahead and get into a sparring stance or a fighting stance, whichever one you wanna do this from. We're gonna do 10 front snap kicks on each leg. So we're doing 10 and switch, and then 10 on the other side. And we're gonna do all of that within 32 seconds. On your mark, get set, go. Breathe. 10, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got a few seconds left. 3, 2, 1, time. Okay. Did you beat the time? Did your techniques feel good to you? Right? If they didn't feel good to you, you need to practice more. That's just what this comes down to. If you feel like you have to rush so much that your techniques start to feel bad to you, you need more practice. That's what it usually comes down to. All right, we're gonna do it one more time. Same thing. I actually think I'm gonna start on my other leg first, and then I'll switch, just for funsies. On your mark, get set, go. 1, 2, 3. Make sure they're good kicks. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm gonna switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And time. Take a breath in and out. Catch your breath. So I went at a pretty slow pace, I was trying to finish right before the timer. You should be able to get under 30 seconds if you really practice this. It shouldn't be very difficult to do, and that's why this is the introductory one. If you are having trouble with it though, just keep practicing. Right? That's really what it comes down to, is just keep practicing, keep timing yourself, keep working on that goal, and one day you're gonna be able to achieve it. Okay, so that was the entire introductory curriculum, and we went through all the things. Hopefully you actually followed along the last class and did your self-assessment, and you had the mistakes identified and you were able to work on them in today's class. Okay, I know I was just kind of throwing everything out there. We just practiced a little bit of everything. If you need to practice more of one specific thing, please do that before moving on to the next belt level. Right, I want you to have that solid foundation, and I'm not here telling you yes or no, you can't watch the next video. You're more than welcome to watch it, but I would prefer that you do a self-assessment and you look through and you have very little marks on it, and it's just like, oh, check mark, check mark, check mark, everything looks good. That's what I would prefer you do before you move on and get into the next belt level's material. So just keep practicing until you really do feel comfortable with all of this. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cool down a little bit. So let's start off with our sumo splits. Just gonna bounce around. And let's drop down to one leg for that hamstring. Squat down into it. Try to keep that heel down if you can. And then use your forearms and your elbows to open up your legs. Should feel a little bit of a hamstring stretch and some adductor stretch, so inside the hips. Let's go ahead and let's switch sides. Same thing. I'm slightly leaning my body, right? So not completely like centered to where my weight is. My weight is right here. I'm gonna have a slight lean towards that leg, which will give me a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. And then I'm using this arm as a wedge so my knee doesn't come in, and I'm using this arm and elbow to push that knee open. Right? I'm gonna use it to open my knee up instead of letting it collapse in like this. Here. Okay, let's go ahead and let's split. Relax. No, I just felt some relaxation. Good, good. Sometimes you just have to focus on it a little bit. Okay, let's come up. Let's go ahead and put one arm over. And we're gonna come up to this side. Come down. So I'm gonna make a small adjustment for me today. I'm gonna put my knee down and I'm gonna bend this leg and I'm gonna try to go into the splits this way. I sprained my MCL about 2 weeks ago now, and it's just been acting up. I've had problems with it for a few years now, but I re-sprained it. So I'm gonna have a bent knee. If you are having knee problems, or if you feel like you have kind of some pain right here on the inside of the knee, not just discomfort, right? Remember, pain versus discomfort. If it's painful, this is a way to get away from that pain in the knee whenever you're doing the splits, is by bending that knee. And we still want to make sure our weight is over it. That will still allow us to get that stretch in the muscle that we're looking for. It's a little bit more difficult because we don't have as much leverage to really kind of pull ourselves down, because now the lever is shorter, but that's okay. It still accomplishes the same thing for the most part. And it's a little bit better on our knees. So ideally we don't re-injure them, and I'll be able to continue filming classes without a constant knee pain. So I will go back to the regular splits probably in about another week or two. I just want to do this until I feel a lot more confident that I'm not going to re-sprain it, because it's still in the healing phase. Okay, let's go ahead and let's come up. Let's shake it out, do some modified hip twists. All right, cheer up. Let's bow out, bow, kunye. And great job on that class, you guys. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Make sure to also like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And let me know if there's something that you're really struggling with and you would just like to see maybe a different method for whatever that is. So if you are struggling with something and I haven't covered a way that has helped you accomplish whatever that is, comment down below. That way I can add it in future videos. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next class.